Shock Monkey Radio is entertainment for adults, by adults, and the views and opinions expressed here do not reflect upon the sponsors or FXBG Public Radio. For additional information, please refer to the United States Bill of Rights. Stand warned.
Tune to madness down the rage. World's a jungle stage by stage. Shock Monkey Radio. Feel the static, let it go. Monkey Radio. Twist it down and lose control.
I think air drumming should count as dancing. What do you think? Yeah. When I feel the music, yeah. What, you don't think that's dancing? I think it's dancing. You're moving your body, I'm moving my body. It's dancing. I think so. And maybe you could just, last time I did that on the dance floor, somebody was just standing near me, like staring me straight in the face and going, just like tapping the table in front of him. On the one, and I'm like, what are you doing? And he's like, oh, I'm the looping. I'm looping for you. See, I'm participating too, so I'm dancing. See? I'm a musician too. He's like, no. He's like, well, how is what you're doing dancing and same as what they're out there doing on the dance floor? This is things nerds say to each other when they're not dancing. And so I say, hey, this is way more dancing than that. Okay, now excuse me, I'm going to go ask a girl to dance. And you go up to a girl at the party, the club, whatever, and you're like, hey girl, you want to dance? And she doesn't like you. She's like, I don't even know what the hell you're doing. And I was like, come on, it's real easy. 1, 2, 3, there you go. And she's like, maybe she likes you. Maybe she thinks she's interested, starts playing along. So she picks up the drumsticks, the invisible drumsticks. And you're like, no. We clearly already have a percussionist. You got to play something else. You can do the vocals. And she's like, I don't know the lyrics to this song. It's like, all right, get on keyboards or something. Do guitar. But we obviously can't all be playing the same instrument. And then you're going around. Everyone's trying to do a different instrument. You got guy over here on the cello. It's like, what is that, a cello? It's like, no, it's a bass. It's like, you mean, the bass. Okay. And you got a guy over here. It's like, what do you do? Violin? No, viola. Oh, okay. The guy over here doing this. It's like, what do you do? You got the flute? No, piccolo. You got to be obscure with you, Mr. I'm ruling the dance floor. I make the rules about what counts as dancing. King of the dance. Which I don't dance. Man, I love air drums. Every time, like when the music hits me, that's when I do air drums. It's the only dancing I ever do. And so, and I think I look a lot less ridiculous than most of you when you're dancing in your official way. But the best part about air drums is you never need to tune them, Don't have to tune them. The sticks never crack. Cymbals never crack. Never have to replace any drum heads, and the pedals always work. And they're 100% lighter, cheaper, and smaller than real drums. So just put that, a lot harder to record, 100% harder to record. Right, EK? Oh, yeah. He's been trying to record my drum solos, my air drum solos, for a long time. And it's just weird. It sounds like this. Yeah. And crash. King of the dance. Welcome to Shock Monkey Radio. I'm your host, the Madman. Worked up a little bit of sweat playing the air drums. I want to remind you that I have a Patreon. Go to patreon.com/shockmonkeyradio. Become a patron today. I'd very much appreciate it. Or you can send me money through Cash App. Use the hashtag shockmonkeyradio, all one word. Please, please, please. I'm kind of broke this week. You can follow me on social media up here. I've never seen a view like this, playing with a band with a crowd that big. It's kind of exciting. Vicariously, I suppose. Speaking of learning how to play the drums and other musical instruments, I'd have thought a couple of days ago, and I'm not sure if it's depressing or not. Maybe you can weigh in on whether or not this is depressing. I'm going to be 49, Madman Appreciation Month, and I had this thought where I've spent my whole life grinding side quests. like my entire life. You know, I never like followed a quest line to completion. Like, for example, I thought about my time in the Navy, 4 years in the Navy. And I was like, no, I've had enough. I don't want to go the full 20 years and get all the full rewards, you know, the retirement and so forth. You know, what was I? I was 20 when I came, like be 40 and leaving with half my pay for the rest of my life. Didn't complete the full quest. It was just the side quest, and I get the little benefits that you get for the 4 years that I was in. And it's also like learning how to play drums. It's learning how to write poetry. It's learning how to write scripts, you know, which I know how to do. And so, I mean, it's just grinding these little side quests, and I've never really hit the completion. I never really got to the big stage, even now. You know, I worked at a radio station for a while. It's the only thing I really liked. It's the only theme I've really stayed on my entire life. You know, I remember being in like high school, I wanted to be a radio DJ, or like I wanted to be like Adam Carolla, man, Loveland. I mean, that was my thing. Like listening to that like every single time. It was out of habit. You know, I couldn't get enough like talk radio. And so that's what I wanted to do with my life. And so, you know, I ended up joining the Navy. I did that side quest for a while, learned like some more artsy stuff like writing and musical instruments and so forth on my own, playing in bands. But there was all just side quests with their little tiny rewards. I've never really taken one to completion and cashed out the big payday, get the nice armor or whatever you get for completing a quest. Or what is it, like a watch? So I don't know if that's a depressing thought or not, you know. Because, I mean, I can't imagine living my life any other way. So, anyway. Let's go on to the next topic. Horseplay. I know what you're thinking. I'm going to rant about horses for a while. No. I'm kind of horsed out, you know. It's exhausting. We had like last was it last week? There was a horse thing with a bunch of teenage girls riding horses around this big field nearby. I roll down my windows every single day, and I go out of my way to drive past and just shout out the window, "You evil creatures, stop supporting those evil creatures." But because of the Doppler effect, nobody, you know, my message doesn't really land on anybody. And so I'm kind of horsed out. I've seen too many over the past month. Kind of sick of it. Anyway, but what I'm talking about is horseplay. It's like young boys who like engage in unstructured play. You know, I was thinking, it's like, when was the last, there's some kids in my neighborhood that do play. There's a couple of boys. And mostly they like running around the yard and stuff like that. They're not really like fighting each other or anything like that. You know, not building anything, not jumping bikes or skateboards, like stuff that I did when I was a kid. And they're certainly not fighting or roughhousing or just slap fighting. You know, remember? You know, I don't know. Maybe it's just the time I grew up. You know, I was born in 1977, growing up in the 1980s. You know, slap fighting was a thing. Getting into fights on a regular was a thing. You know, I'm bored. What are you going to do? Let's fight. So we would. But, I mean, there was always this kind of, like, rules to it where, like, you pick up a rock or a stick or something like that. It's like, no weapons. No weapons. And either you reluctantly put it down, or if somebody goes at you with the weapon, then you have every reason to run away as fast as you can in order and still save face, because these were the rules. There was a chivalry among these little boys that I hung out with. And I remember it's like I'd never really counted a fight. Like I've been in numerous fights as a kid, but I never really counted one until I lost one because of my temper. And this was like when I was like 12 years old, so like 88, 89, 89. And so, and I lost my temper. I'd been in a bunch of fights up until then, and I didn't start counting fights until that point. And I was like, I got to remember this one, because I lost my temper. And then every time I lost my temper in a fight, I lost. And that was when I realized it, about 12 years old. And so, but I just, kids don't do that anymore. All the play they do is very structured, you know, whether it's, you know, playing sports, you know, like moms don't even want their kids playing baseball. It's like, oh, there's a ball being moving around really quickly, and it's a baseball, you know, pretty hard. And it's like, yeah, it's called hardball. It's baseball. That's the reason why it hurts when it hits you. The baseball, when it hits you, is so it builds your agility. You know, what was that? Where they're playing dodgeball. I'm an idiot. Dodgeball, where he's like shooting tennis balls at him with a tennis ball, you know, gun. Yeah, you'll build up your agility really quickly if you know there's a baseball. You're paying attention to what's going on at the mound. You're paying attention to when that ball's coming. The whole idea of keep your eye on the ball is incredibly important in baseball, because if you're sitting there, oh, look, there's dandelions, you're going to catch a ball to the face. And I knew guys playing baseball back then who caught a ball to the face, and like their nose is all one side. and still is to this day, probably. And so, like, I think even Bert Kreischer, like, lost all his teeth because some guy swung a bat around and hit him in the mouth when he was a catcher. You know, that kind of stuff happened back then. And it's just, but even that dangerous play was structured, and more kids played baseball than soccer. But now every single mom wants to put their kid in soccer. Oh, that's pretty safe. It's like, okay, but it's structured play. Even like the combat sports, like you take your kid to Taekwondo or karate. It's more like dance class than anything else. You know? I don't know if you've been in a fight, but with somebody who took karate. But I found them surprisingly easy to beat because they're dancing. You know, it's kind of like that scene in Batman Begins where he goes, he starts naming the styles that Christian Bale starts going in. It's like, oh, you know, a bunch of different styles, but you're very skilled, but this is not a dance. Kicks his ass. It's like, this is serious. This is fighting. This isn't a dance. So, I mean, even that kind of play is structured. But I remember being a kid, you're working on the tree fort and you get into an argument and you start pushing each other. And the third guy who's there is like, drop your hammers. Then you drop your hammers as soon as before the fight breaks out, because there's a chivalry to it. And that's kind of what you learn because the people you're going to end up fighting are probably friends, classmates at least. And you're going to have to live with them. You continue to live with them because that's the point. It's like fighting, you know. And that's why I think these kids nowadays, they think fighting is, I don't know, like a video game or something like that. And it's like, they're vicious. They throw down. You know what I mean? And they're hard to stop. And I think that's because they weren't roughhousing when they were younger. Because if you're like, you know, a fight at 5 or 6, it's really hard to hurt each other. Like if you got into a fight and you're 6 years old and two boys got into a fight, you know, one of you may win, one of you may lose, but you're both going to walk home crying. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a terrible experience. Fighting is terrible. And the sooner you learn that, the better it is. And so when the first fight you get in is when you're 18 or 19, you know, you may be surprised or you may do something absolutely crazy, you know, get yourself hurt. I was thinking about Ted Betteke from Breaking Bad, where a guy threatened him and he just freaked out because it's probably the only time he was ever confronted with like mortality, you know, a threat, you know, a true threat. And so he like panicked and ran and slipped on a carpet and knocked himself out, you know. And you know, it's just like Jane Cobb says, you know, the hero of Canton, you know, there's people going to die, and with that comes all sorts of crazy behavior for people who ain't used to it. Which is true. And the younger you learn that, the better. And also you learn consequences, you know, for getting punched in the face. It's like, maybe I shouldn't have said that. Maybe I shouldn't have gone down that road. You know, you also learn the consequences of hurting another person, you know, especially a friend. Is like, man, is he going to talk to me ever again? It's like, no, he's real mad, man. He said his nose bled for like an hour. You hit him really good. I don't know. Horseplay. I think something boys should do. You know, I had this thought when my puppy was playing with its sister, and they're the whole time they're wrestling and getting on top of each other. They're not hurting each other. They're just playing. All mammals do this. And if you take that away from human males, you're going to have a real problem with human males in society. And I think we do. But there's a lot of factors involved in that. I'm not going to get into all. Let's do the coin of the week. We'll do it quickly because I'm mad at it. 0% lucky. This 100 lira coin from 1975. Lira from Italy. This is obviously before the euro. It's Italian. It's worth about 15 to 25 cents and 0% lucky. It's a 1975 Italian lira coin from the Italian Republic. The head side obverse features left-facing laureate, laurel wreath female head, symbolizing a classical or allegorical figure. It's no one in particular, obviously. The inscription says Repubblica Italian, Republic of Italy. Below the neck of the Roman cannoli. Forgive me. It sounds delicious. Can't wait to have some. Designer Giuseppe. Oh, this is a person. My bad. And Giampioli Inc. So I guess that's where you get the cannolis from. All right, the reverse backside shows the goddess Minerva, Roman goddess of wisdom and war, from equivalent to Greek Athena, facing left, holding spears in her left hand, reaching towards or holding an olive tree, symbolizing peace, with her right inscriptions, 100 lira, and a mark of R for Rome, and the date, obviously. Okay, it's 8 grams. It's made of stainless steel, 81.75% iron, 18.25% chromium, durable and non-magnetic. 27.8 millimeters in diameter, 2 millimeters in thickness, and the edge is reeded as it's good for scratching. You want to see the guy? Fairly large, maybe a little larger than a quarter. It's obviously made heavier metal than modern U.S. quarters, but it's worth about a quarter, 15 to 25 cents. It was designed as a circulation 100 lira coins from 55 to 89, common everyday coin before the euro replaced the lira in 2002. There's about 106.65 million in 1975 production year. Typically very low value. Like I said, uncirculated and proof-like pieces may fetch a bit more, about $1, but the coin is not rare. Many are sold cheaply in bulk or as novelty items. That's a very nice tip I got from that person, huh? I like this comment the AI told me at the end. Is it's a nice example of mid-20th century Italian Republic coinage reflecting post-World War II symbolism, wisdom, and peace, the olive tree, and classical heritage. Yeah, that's right. We fought Italy, didn't we? I was in the Navy. I always wanted to go to Italy. I've heard great things about guys who are in the Navy. Apparently Italian people love Americans. I think it's because of the Second World War. They had all those first engaged in Africa, and then from Africa to Sicily to Italy proper. And a lot of Americans died, like in Anzio and so forth, like in Sicily, and so it's I don't know. I just always wanted to go there because the food, obviously. I mean, I was making a joke earlier about it sounds delicious because it probably is. And a lot of those stories about sailors, hitting the ports in like Naples or something like that, they just be walking down the street. People would be like, come in. And they have a feast. It's all the most delicious Italian foods you can imagine. It's just a feast. I don't know. It's just the way Italians roll, Like the ship would come in, and they would tell me, it was like, yeah, you could just smell the cooking from the ship. And man, that sounds awesome. Because we've been eating ship food for a while. Coin of the week. All right, let's do a couple movie reviews. Holy cow, 219. I really went off on that drumming thing. Hell of a solo. First movie I'm going to review is called Immortal, 2019 movie. It is not EK approved, and I don't want to mention the reason why. There's one scene that is the reason why it's not EK approved, and it takes a lot of stars off. And it's at the end of the second story. There's 4 different stories. It's like 4 little vignettes. I love those kinds of things usually. And the premise of it is that, I don't know, it's like Highlander. There can be only one, but there's actually really very little. There could be only one. It's not like a bunch of immortals coming to New York and fighting each other. It's not like that. It's just that people randomly finding out is like, oh, I thought I was a normal person. Then I died, and then I came back to life, and so now life is weird. I don't know what to do with life now because it's going to go on for so long. And that's kind of what is interesting about the premise is obviously as someone who's not immortal, and you're not like Connor McLeod from the Clan McLeod, and you don't have to go to war, and you just live out the rest of your life normally. It's just like, why am I not aging? Why are my girlfriends growing old and dying? I don't understand this. This is weird. Until, you start, something bad happens to you, maybe 200 years after you're born, and you're like, oh, I got stabbed, and it healed, and I came back to life, and so, what do I do with my life now? Man, I hope Sean Connery shows up to show me the ropes. No, this movie is not like that. And some people say Highlander is not that great of a movie, and fair, but I mean, it was an interesting premise, So, and this could have been an interesting premise, but it's like everyone is, the main characters of these skits are all like, I don't know, all finding out that they have the same power. All right, like I said, there's 4 vignettes. The first one's good. It's about this teenage girl being like captured by a weirdo and taken way out in the woods, and he's like, all right, I'm laying out all my weapons here. You have a phone there. I gave you a phone. And it has GPS coordinates on it. And about 4 miles in any direction, you'll be able to get a signal. And you can call for help. So the starting gun is going to be literally my gun. I'm going to shoot myself in the head. And then from after that point, you're going to have like 2 to 5 minutes where you can get away from me. And then I'm going to come after you with like my crossbow or the axe or something. I don't know, one of these things. And she's like, you're crazy. But then he does, and then 2 to 5 minutes later, he comes looking for her. And so that's that first story. I don't want to spoil any of the endings. The second story, like I ended, ends horribly, and I really don't like it. I think there's a lot of liberal themes in these scenes, and that I don't like. And it's a guy and his pregnant wife, and he's like, okay, this is what we're doing. You can see they're trying to set something up with the cable. It's like, oh, the cable isn't working. Oh, I got to go check the dish and stuff like that. So they're trying to set this thing up, make sure somebody sees you, make sure that they see you there. Make sure you make that phone call. They're trying to set up the situation so that he will go up to the roof, fix the dish, fall off, and die, or probably get injured enough to sue somebody to make money because he's got the baby on the way. And so after a long setup, they finally go through with it, and he falls off the roof and face first, and he's done. And she's clearly not panicking right away. She's like, oh, okay, just making sure he's dead. And then she goes into the kitchen and goes to find her secret phone and calls her lover. So he did it. I can't believe he did it. And then her water breaks, and then she slips and falls and gets killed herself. And yeah, I don't want to spoil it, because I'll just put it this way: somebody comes alive, all right, and because that's the point of the show. It's like there's an immortal in the midst of it, every one of these characters that you see. And I really didn't like the ending of that. There's some things you just never need to show on film, and so that's why the second one is why it's not EK approved. It's gross. The third story is about this cute old couple who've been together. They're in love. They've been forever. But, the wife's in a whole lot of pain. She's got this disease. She's in pain all the time. Pain. They want to end their lives. And there's this documentary crew, including one guy who does makeup, who's a trans person. And thank God no lines, because it would have been off-putting. And so the whole idea is that this couple, the woman wants to die because of how much pain she's in. So obviously we have the topic of euthanasia, another liberal thing. And these journalists are just like, I'm so glad, I'm so happy that you're going to do this. It's so, the husband, like he says, I'm going to set it up for you. I'm going to do everything, this way to kill ourselves, or yourself. I gave up the ghost. He's like, I want to go out with you. And so he does himself as well. And so, and then one of them lives. They're immortal. And so, tough cookies, life, you got to live out the life. Then you got the one with Sam Levine. You may remember Sam Levine from Freaks and Geeks. And I've seen him in a couple things since then. And he's doing pretty well as an actor. And he did pretty well in this last scene. I think the first and the last vignettes are the best. And the last one he's just walking along on his birthday, minding his own business, talking to his mom on the phone as some lady comes and hits him with a car. And his neck's all broken and stuff like that. And for all intents and purposes, he should be done. She gets back in the car, drives off. But a few minutes later, he wakes up. He's okay. And under him is a license plate from the car that hit him. And so he's like, he ends up like crawling back home, taking a shower. And he's like, I'm healed. I thought I got hit by a car. I had blood all over me, but I'm all healed up. So he starts testing things. And he's like, what the hell just happened? He starts testing things. And after a while, he starts understanding what is actually going on with him, but he has the license plate. And when you die and realize that you can't really do that, it changes you in your mind. And so something very, let's just say a revenge tale unfolds. All right. It's not like, what was it? Harry and the Hendersons, where I see the gold dummy buddy. I saw the license plate. I take it down. Anyway. No, that's right. He hired a private detective. Anyway, I don't want to spoil it. Like I said, the first and fourth vignettes are the best. The middle two, I'm like, I really question. There's topics I find uncomfortable in them. But it may be worth a watch if you're curious, if you have a curious mind and a strong stomach. But like I said, not EK approved, and there's a lot of things I don't like about it. So 5 of 13 stars for Immortal. Grotesque scene in a second. It's grotesque. It's a grotesquerie. All right. You okay, man? You sneezing? Yeah. Oh, okay. Let's do another movie review. Operation Endgame, 2010 movie. You ever seen that show Archer? This movie's a lot like that. It's like a live action Archer turned into itself. Like they only had one episode of Archer to do, and it's just like it's just turned on itself. This is one of those movies where a studio will just like do a contract cleanup. You know, it's like we got all these people that need like one more before we can get them out of that contract and then do a new one. And so you got star-studded cast. You know, you got great comedy actors like Zach Galifianakis, Adam Scott, Rob Corddry, Bob Odenkirk. What's his name from Arrested Development? I forget his name. Anyway, a ton of great actors and actresses. And they pull them all together. It's like, let's put you in this one goofy movie. You only have to work a couple weeks on each, for each of you. And boom, contract done. Now we can negotiate a new one. And so this is one of those movies. And so it's like I said, it's like Archer in the sense that, it's spy kind of game, contract spy kind of thing. No, I didn't talk about the ladies. Yeah, there's hot chicks everywhere in it, like Ellen Barkin. No, Ellen Barkin, not Alan Arkin. The hot chick, the hot blonde girl. She's been hot for like 50 years. Ellen Barkin. And super hot Maggie Q. I hate that she's wearing sunglasses in this picture. She is gorgeous. I think it was Balls of Fury was the first time I noticed her. And I was like, man, she is like my type 100%. I like what Gavin McInnes says about girls who are 10s, where like God's sitting there on the computer like it's weird science and you're hanging out with God and God's sitting there. Okay, let's make the perfect girl for you. Let's skinny. All right, small boobies. I know you, buddy. I know exactly what you want. Okay. Dark hair, right? You don't care about the eye color? Okay, not really. Okay. Let's see. You like the like Asian-y, maybe North American, ethnically ambiguous, right? It's like, yeah, okay. There we go. But hey, and God says to me, hey, you want to come and like make any adjustments? And I come down, I got to start clicking some slider bars, maybe a little bit bigger boobs, a little bit bigger hips. I want to have a lot of kids, God. I want you to know I want to have a lot of kids. And then maybe the small, oh God, can you change it back? I think I screwed it up. Yeah, just change it back. And then I'll do that one. Like if you can't improve it, that's a 10, and that's Maggie Q to me. My type. So the thing about like Archer, what made Archer funny and what makes this movie kind of funny is that in the spy world, it's populated by human beings, and human beings are flawed. They have vices, they have personalities, they have foibles, they have rivalries. And that's the problem, I guess, with like people think like spies are these highly trained people, and they are, but they're also human beings. And having been somewhat in the spy game myself, you'll see this kind of stuff happening where he's like, oh, okay, that guy's a drunk. Oh, 'cause these guys are fighting all the time. And they're probably because they want to bang, and it's similar to Archers. It's a lot like inner office politics along with violence and spy game stuff. And so I think that was kind of interesting. However, Archer is a little bit more funny, laughs in terms of laughs per minute. The laughs here are like kind of few and far between for it to be listed as a comedy. It doesn't really work. So, so spies are just flawed people, violent and weird ass people. So good looking ladies. You got Zach Galifianakis. He's like the briefest scene. Same with Adam Scott. I think Adam Scott was underutilized. I think Bob Odenkirk was underutilized. And but Rob Corddry, he was perfectly utilized. He was perfect as, I don't know, every time he's like this unhinged kind of guy, because he plays this drunk. He carries around this pistol-shaped flask of whiskey. And he carries that more than any of his other guns. And so he's always drinking from it. It's just this unhinged drunk. And he's my favorite character, obviously. And so if you like that kind of humor, if you know anything about like the intelligence game, you may find some humor in it. There's some mild political stuff going on. Like, for example, the whole conflict is based upon the changeover from the George W. Bush campaign into the Obama campaign. And so that's the major crisis, because these two spy agencies are kind of like Odin and ISIS from Archer. They're kind of at each other's throats, which is a bad idea. That's not how it works anyway. So even if you know a little bit about the spy game, you'll say this is not how it works at all. But anyway, but you learn, hey, spies are just flawed, violent, weird ass people. So 6 of 13 stars. Yeah, Archer's laughs per minute are way higher. And it's not that good as a comedy, and it's not that good as a spy drama. So saith the Nine of Swords. Oh, yeah, they use tarot cards as code names. It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. But if I'm calling one ahead of time, I'm the Nine of Swords. All right, let's do the news worth knowing. All right, so let's talk about this whole drama. All right, this headline, you have to follow it back in time a little ways to see where it comes from. So a resurfaced clip of Johnny Carson's Grace after Reagan shooting contrasts with Kimmel. All right, so we're talking about a clip of Johnny Carson after Reagan got shot in 81. All right, so Carson and others postponed the 1981 Oscars by 24 hours after John Hinckley Jr. shot Reagan in the same Washington Hilton. Same one. Whoops. Yeah, it's been going viral, especially in conservative circles, because the class of Johnny Carson. Nearly half a century ago, comedian Johnny Carson chose unity over punchlines after an assassination attempt on President Ronald Reagan. A clip comparing Carson's 1981 Oscars monologue to reactions to his recent attempt on Donald Trump's life has drawn nearly 800,000 views online. I'm sure that all of you here and most of you watching tonight understand why we delayed this program for 24 hours, Carson said in the video. Because of the incredible events of yesterday, that old adage, the show must go on, seemed relatively unimportant. Yeah, they have postponed the Academy Awards by 24 hours after, okay, we read that already. There's a clear difference between Reagan and Trump. Reagan was seriously wounded and returned to the White House after 12 days after in the hospital. Academy, ABC, television, and all of us connected to the show felt because of the certain outcome as of this time yesterday would have been inappropriate to stage a celebration. He's in excellent condition, blah, blah, blah. And as he said that, everyone cheers in, positive, affirmations for the president, even though a lot of them were Democrats. So, and this was in response to what happened with Jimmy Kimmel. He made a joke about the First Lady, say our First Lady, this on his show, saying our First Lady Melania is here. Look at Melania, so beautiful. Mrs. Trump, you have the glow like an expectant widow, which is in horribly bad taste. It's bad taste, but I think he has the freedom of speech to say stuff like that. However, it would be classier if he said something like Carson did. If Carson said something like if Kimmel said something like, All right, so there was a shooting at the Washington Hilton. The president's okay. Everyone's okay. You know, nobody got hurt, thank God, and we're just glad nobody got hurt. That being said, Mrs. Trump, you look fantastic for an almost expectant widow. That would also be in a little bit of bad taste, but I would think, you know, a little bit better. And the whole idea, the whole difference, I think, is the animosity and the hatred they have. And this is why there's like so much violence against conservatives, you know, like, you remember Charlie Kirk got shot? Does anyone remember that? Kids, can we arrest some people over that? Some more people? Because the whole left has been instigating this. And they begin instigating it through people like Jimmy Kimmel by saying stuff like this. I mean, saying something like that, it's not even tongue-in-cheek, you know? So obviously, there was an assassination attempt at the Washington Correspondents' Dinner. Guy ran it. His manifesto, he was like, I'll do a non-lethal takedown of these cops. It's like, who are you, dude? Are you Rambo? I watched enough action movies. I know how to incapacitate a trained soldier. And if you look at how, like, yeah, he got a couple shots off, but like, I don't even think he was hit. He was shot. He tripped, maybe, I think. Caught him. You know, but like I said, you know, it's people like Kimmel who raise the temperature, and that's how they like can maintain plausible deniability, is that they can say all this horrible stuff about their the opposing political side, and then with some wingnut who watches way too much Jimmy Kimmel or is way too deep into the left-wing bubble, they're like, oh, I'm randomly, of my own accord, going to go do, like, shoot up the, what was it, the softball game, the congressional softball game? That was like 10 years ago, man. This stuff has been going on for a long time, and people are like, oh, all the right-wing people are the violent ones. It's like, you kidding me? Trans shooters? You know, people, you know, shooting, like, bankers. What was his name? Brian Johnson? I forgot. I'm sure as hell know the name Luigi Mangione, though, don't you? But you made a hero out of him. That's the point. Idiots. I got to move along. So, ex-NFL player reacts to Minnesota. Hold on. Reacts to FBI raids and alleged Somali fraudsters in Minnesota. Brewer previously told Fox News Digital that he saw Somali fraudsters buy luxury sports cars and blah, blah, blah. All right, so former Minnesota Vikings captain and Minnesota Golden Gophers football star Jack Brewer has witnessed an arc of crime and punishment involving the state's Somali community after previously telling Fox News Digital that he saw alleged Somali fraudsters buy luxury sports cars during his playing career with the Vikings. Brewer witnessed the FBI conduct raids on alleged Somali fraudsters at the center of a years-long Minnesota welfare fraud scheme. Quote, Americans should celebrate today. Finally, we have an FBI that is sticking up for the poor in this country and stopping this corruption that's happening in Minneapolis and the surrounding areas, where they're literally robbing, the orphan, the widow, and those in poverty, Brewer told Fox News Digital later on Tuesday. Quote, thank God Kash Patel and the federal government are stepping in because they are the only ones who will even attempt to police this place. Minnesota will not police itself. You know, it's like I said, you know, they're so liberal that they're telling the cops to stand down. It's ridiculous. It's like, well, we have these investigations. Don't worry about it. Go drink coffee. And there's a lot of cops in a lot of cities who are like that. They're just like, I'm just going to get my cup of coffee and sit in my car until my shift is over. Not do a damn thing. Oh, that guy's speeding. I don't care. Gunshots. You heard the gunshots? I heard them. I'm going to stay right here. They're not shooting at me. I don't care. And I think that's a problem. That's a very serious problem. And that's why the corruption has reached so deep and taken so much of our money. And this is what he's talking about. It's like there are actual Americans who could have got some of that money. All right. This is our tax dollars being stolen by a bunch of foreigners. Bring back justice. I miss that motherfucker. I wonder if I should make a t-shirt like that. I wonder if it'd be hard to sell. All right, so Texas Representative Brandon Gill, excuse me. He grilled is what he did. GOP rising star demands abortion advocate named the favorite method in hearing clash. This is fantastic. Judiciary hearing, this is such good thinking. A judiciary hearing in the House of Representatives grew tense on Tuesday when Representative Brandon Gill, a Republican from Texas, pressed an American University scholar in graphic detail on the abortion procedure she would list as her favorite. Quote, "What's your favorite type of abortion?" Gill asked Jessica Waters, a senior scholar at the American University School of Public Affairs. Waters, whose research focuses on reproductive rights law, abortion regulation, and state control of reproductive decision-making, refused to answer. Quote, "I'm an advocate for patients having full access to the full realm of reproductive health care," Waters said. Oh, it's all about women and their freedom. The moment and the attention immediately sparked online. Wait, did I miss something? Oh, wait. No, I didn't. Okay. The moment and the attention immediately sparked online highlights the continued priority of the abortion issue among Republican lawmakers and conservatives and came during a hearing before the Subcommittee on Constitutional and Limited Government. Gill leaned into the gruesome picture often left behind by some of the procedures. Editor. Quote, "The first kind is called a suction abortion," Gill said. "This is when the cervix is dilated and a strong suction, 29 times the power of a household vacuum cleaner, tears the baby's body apart and sucks it through the hose into the container. Do you prefer that method?" It's reprehensible what he's describing, but it's hilarious because I'm sure they're squirming. Because this is what they don't want you to know. It's like the truth of the matter. Waters responded by saying, "I stand by my former testimony." Viewers on social media praised Gill, pointing out blah, blah, blah. Let's see. This is a quote. "This is the conversation Democrats refuse to have. It's uncomfortable, it's ugly, but it has to be said," Nick Craig, a political commentator from North Carolina, said in a post on X. Derek Evans, a former member of the West Virginia House of Representatives, highlighted the moment in a post of his own. Quote, "Watch her squirm as he starts describing some of the abortion methods," Evans wrote. Quote, "If you think congressional testimony is useless, just watch this masterclass," TPUSA spokesperson Andrew Colvett said on X. And terse conservative podcast host Matt Walsh wrote on X, "Brilliantly done." Yeah, I just wanted to get to that quote and practice my Matt Walsh voice. I can't do it. Yeah, I mean, it's like, this is what the women's rights advocates don't want to talk about. They don't even want to label it abortion. They want to call it reproductive rights for women, what really is just women murdering their children. And we don't want to actually face what the nature of the procedure is. Yeah, so they start ripping the baby apart from inside you. Sometimes they may forget something. You'll have a lot of fun with that, you know. And I think that people need to stop pretending that babies are not people. I think women especially need to own up to how immoral this thing is, because we've been, conservatives have been like anti-abortion for a long time, and women, I don't know if you know women and how they really love to be held accountable. They love to hold themselves accountable. It's kind of the same thing. Newsworth editing. Well, get to it. I'm not an editor. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, they don't want to be honest about it. So it's just like the trans mothers of trans people. The trans person, they get all the surgeries and stuff like that. They are still miserable. And the parents, especially the mothers, they don't want to admit that they were wrong, because it would mean it's like, oh, I mutilated my child. I was so wrong, I mutilated my child. And the abortion is just another facet of that. Oh, I've murdered how many abortions you've had, that many of my children, And that's the problem. People don't realize, like, the reason why all these third worlders are coming into this country is because you crazy bitches have been killing your kids for over 50 years. It's like 70 years, I think. And every time I'm swiping on on dating sites. And it's like, is it baby killer? Is it a baby killer? Is it a baby killer? Is it a baby killer? You're like, why are you single? I don't know. I don't want to marry somebody who's going to murder my children. Anyway. Getting heavy. Sorry, Mo. Getting heavy. 46. I got time. All right. Chicago alderman says, no cash bail is utterly manipulated by violent offenders. He said it after a cop's killing. Chicago alderman says the state's no cash bail law has been utterly manipulated and abused, and is calling for changes after a felon on pretrial release allegedly killed a police officer inside a hospital. Alfonso Talley, 27, was charged on Monday after allegedly killing 38-year-old Chicago Police Department officer John Bartholomew at Swedish Hospital on Saturday and injuring another officer in a shooting. Talley allegedly shot both officers around 11 a.m. at the hospital, where officials said he'd been taken into custody for previous armed robbery. Where he was taken to a CT scan. While he was being taken to a CT scan, prosecutors said he had a gun underneath his blanket, which he pulled out and shot both officers. He was wanted after allegedly robbing a Family Dollar store on Saturday morning and pistol whipping one of the female employees, taking her wallet and keys. This alderman, it's surprising that people aren't more, especially representatives, aren't more on top of this. If you want to say, take the guns away. It's like, no, that's not going to, that's not going to change anything. People are still going to be, instead of pistol whipped, they'll be just beaten with a baseball bat. You know what I mean? Or stabbed. So it's ridiculous. So, and when you catch somebody who does such violent things, the idea that they should get bail at all is insane to me. All right? If you're a judge and some guy comes before you and he's been charged with armed robbery at a Family Dollar and pistol whipping one of the clerks, yeah, we can let him back out. He's probably not going to do anything like that again. And even more serious crimes, actual murderers, being let out way too early. And it's just like that the guy who stabbed Irina Zarutska on the train. That guy had been picked up dozens of times. You had him. You had the bad guy. Keep the bad people in jail, judges. And that's the problem, is the judges. And the people who can change that are people like aldermen, your representative. We need to start firing a lot of these judges. Anyway, let's get in these two lighter stories. Cheer myself up before I got to go. Got things to do, man. All right. This is coming from UPI, so it may take a while for it to load on this computer. Dashboard warning lights lead to a baby squirrel discovery. April 29th from UPI. A Virginia man opened the hood of his... I wish that Fox would do that. The date and Fox News. At the beginning. It's proper news stuff, anyway. News worth editing. Virginia man opened the hood of his car to find out what was causing his dashboard warning lights to come on, and discovered a nest of baby squirrels. Thomas Ingle, Chief Field Services Officer and Deputy Director at Fairfax County Animal Services, said the Fairfax man turned on his car and discovered every warning light was illuminated. He checked under the hood and found baby squirrels curled up in a nest that had been built by their mother in the engine bay. Were they leaning up against wires? How does that work? Anyway. An animal services officer arrived on the scene and moved the baby squirrels into a basket to keep them warm. She placed the basket, of course it's a female, she placed the basket on the ground and played baby squirrel noises from her phone in the hopes of drawing out the rodent's mother. I wonder if she's got like a work phone and has that kind of stuff on it. If you work with animals, like pull up the moose mating call. No, not the mating call. That'd be interesting if they had that. Or you could just, maybe it's on the internet. You could just ask your phone, get me some squirrel mating calls. And so apparently it worked. The sound apparently did the trick, as a mother squirrel soon emerged to pluck the babies out of the basket and take them away. Get away from my kids, you crazy humans. You don't know where to build a house. Squirrels have been known to cause car trouble in the past. In one famous incident from 2019, a Pittsburgh woman who smelled burning while driving popped her hood and discovered squirrels had been using it as a hiding spot for more than 200 walnuts. that probably means you have a walnut tree on your property, right? They come from trees, right? And so I guess that's the end of the article. UPI, quite terse. Less editing to do. Yeah, like a lot of mammals, especially on cold nights, they'll love, like you park your car, you get home from work, and they're like, ooh, this is a nice spot. I'm going to have my babies right here. Okay. Let's go to this last story, and we're done. I guess they had nothing better to do. Also from UPI, bill introduced to name Loveland Frogman as Ohio's official cryptid. Nothing more important to do. April 27th from UPI. Bill introduced to the Ohio House would designate the Loveland Frogman, or was it Frogman? Frogman, as the state's official cryptid. A bill sponsored by Representatives Tristan Rader, Democrat from 13th District, and Gene Schmidt, Republican 62nd District, calls for the local legend to be named Ohio's official state cryptid. Here's what happened, I guess. I'm going to guess. I'm not going to read any further in the article. These two guys were out having a drink, and they're talking conspiracy theories, right? And they're just pounding the scotch, having a good time, talking about conspiracy theories, talking about cryptids, about Bigfoot and stuff like that. And they're like, and they got their phones, and they're like, any cryptids native to Ohio? I bet we could push a bill through to get an official cryptid. Maybe could put it on our state flag. This sounds like whiskey logic to me, okay? Let's go on with the story. This bill is showcasing our community, said Rader in a news release. That's an interesting spin. We have culture. The Loveland Frog is uniquely Ohio. It reflects the stories we tell, the places we're proud of, and creativity that makes our state worth celebrating. Wow, you're really stretching it. You're really trying to sell it. All right, House Bill 821 describes the Loveland Frogman as a frog-like bipedal creature standing approximately 4 feet tall. The legend dates back to 1972 when two police officers reported spotting a large frog-like creature on different nights. It was 72. The cops are probably drinking or smoking or drinking. The Frogman made headlines again in 2016 when a couple claimed to have seen a massive amphibian while playing Pokemon Go. A bunch of people playing Pokemon Go, which features a bunch of strange, small creatures everywhere. A couple people saw the Frogman. Yeah, must be true. The sighting prompted Mark Matthews, who purports to be one of the police officers who spotted the Frogman in 1972, to come forward with the whole story. Oh, okay. So that was after the Frogman story. Mark Matthews came forward. Okay. That's like, oh, now he's famous. Now I want to claim he raped me. Matthews said the first officer to spot the Frogman, Ray Shockley, told him he saw the creature near the Totes Boots factory and the Little Miami River. Matthews said he was skeptical of the story, but a few days later, he was driving in the same area when he saw something run across the road. Must have been the Frogman. He ended up shooting the creature and putting it in his truck to show Shockey, who confirmed this animal he had seen. The animal was 3 to 3.5 foot long iguana that was missing its tail. It's a big hoax, Matthew told WCPO TV. A logical explanation for everything. Regardless of whether the legendary Frogman was a hoax, its cultural footprint in Loveland has grown over the decades. The Frogman serves as a logo of a popular coffee shop for Mile 42 and inspired found footage horror film called The Frogman in 2023. There it is. Want to watch a movie with me? Called Frogman. It's about a cryptid in Ohio. Hey, we live in Ohio. Pour a drink. Oh my God. You have nothing better to do in Ohio? Don't you have like cities in Ohio? Like Cincinnati, Cleveland? Isn't there like crime and stuff in your cities? Anyway. This is going to be the end of the show. I want to remind you again, I have a Patreon. Go to patreon.com/shockmonkeyradio. Become a patron today. Or you can send me money through Cash App. Use the hashtag shockmonkeyradio, all one word. Follow me on social media at DNALETSAW. That's the word wasteland spelled backwards on Twitter. At SLRobbins13 on the Instagram. And Shock Monkey Radio Redux on Facebook. This has been Shock Monkey Radio. Drum roll. And I love you.
The madman loves
small. He loves you from afar, no matter who you are. The madman loves you all.